Hey everybody, welcome to today's show. Welcome to Equality and Rights for All. I'm your host, Anthony Lorito-Duke, and we have a very interesting topic for today's show, in which it is New York City Mayor's speech today about giving the NYPD permission to have homeless people be placed in involuntary hospitalization made many mental health advocates very mad. Um, the New York City mayor's speech today uh, was not prepared right at all. Um, his plan, what he wants to have placed, has a lot of holes inside of it. It's not a well thought out plan. And You know, the NYPD is not trained to be mental health doctors and to be able to diagnose somebody with a mental illness. The NYPD is only allowed to stipulate what they seen when they arrive at a situation, and a person if a person is acting erratically, you know, they just say what they see. And um but the NYPD is they are not trained mental health medical professionals and stuff. And you know just because a person is homeless does not mean that they're a threat to themselves or to anybody else. you know a study has proven that the major majority of homeless people are not violent at all. And um and again, if a person is not acting erratically, if they're not a threat to themselves or to anybody else, they should not have to be forced to be in involuntary hospitalization, just to get benefits. There's a better way of going about this. You know, um, and again, I could understand if the person is acting erratically or acting violently, then that's a different situation. Then yes, and then they would have to be hospitalized. But if a person is not acting erratically and not being a threat to themselves or to anybody else, if they're not acting violent, there's really no need to be placing them in involuntary hospitalizations. And just so that, because I'm sure there's many people out there who don't know that if a person is placed in involuntary hospitalization, only a court of law can determine when they're allowed to be released. Okay? And, you know, and that's not good. That's not good at all, you know, especially with the fact that um it's a known fact that for every person that the hospitals and courts keep inside the hospital, it's more money for them, for the hospitals and stuff. So, it's really not a well thought out plan at all. And a lot of mental health advocates, including myself, are very mad at the New York City mayor's speech today. And, uh, his plan, what he plans to uh, put forward and hoping to deal with homeless people. you know um now it's time for us advocates to step up and really get together with the mayor's office and say, um, you know, it's you gotta plan this out correctly, number one, and you gotta hear our side. And there's other better ways to go about things, you know, and if a person is acting erratically and violently and is a threat to themselves or somebody else, then yes, we could see, them being placed in involuntary hospitalization. But if a homeless person is not acting erratically or violently and is not a threat to themselves or to anybody else, then there's other ways that's more productive, okay, and beneficial to go about things to help them to get help them to get their benefits and stuff, and everything that they need. There's a better way of going about it that's more productive, you know, and stuff because we have uh, other um, programs and stuff to help them to get whatever benefits uh, that is needed for them, and um, so that way they would not have to be hospitalized and stuff, involuntarily and stuff. So, um, and New York City mayor did not mention any of that. And, you know, it's time for us advocates to step up and talk to the mayor and his administration and say what we have to say about this and to show them the other ways, and all of us be at the table at the same time, and all of us brainstorming together and just putting all the cards out on the table, and both sides listening to one another, and to deal with this correctly, and but to just give permission to the NYPD to have homeless people be placed in involuntary hospitalization, you know, if they're not acting erratically, if they're not acting violently, if they're not being a threat to themselves or to anybody else, then there's no need. There's really no need to be placing them in involuntary hospitalization. So it's just completely wrong, in my opinion. Uh, the mayor's plan and his speech today, and you know, the New York City mayor has an administration. He's got people to write up his speech, his speeches and stuff, and it was not done correctly. Um, uh, it was not stipulated correctly at all, and there's a lot of holes in his plan, and it's really not going to work out, you know. And I understand that the mayor's office um, must be contacted a lot by a lot of people and even other elected officials to uh, deal with the homeless people and stuff like that. And he probably pressured a lot, and he probably and in reacting to being overwhelmed, he just made this speech and plan and stuff just out of reaction, and that's not the proper way of going about things. And um, it's time for the New York City mayor and his staff, his administration, to now listen to the advocates, the mental health advocates, and because I know for a fact that there's a lot of mental health advocates that I know of that are getting on New York City mayor now about this, and and including myself too, because his plan and his speech it's not right. It's not right at all, and he needs to go back to the drawing board. And he needs to have everybody at the table and to listen to one another and to to work this out correctly. There's a better way of going about this. So um, it was just really disappointing uh, what I heard the mayor speak about today and his plan. But you know, this will get corrected. Hopefully soon. And with that being said, I wanted to remind all my fans out there about the business that my husband and I have together called AWLDNY. The link to there is awldny.com. And you guys can check out all the products on there and all the products that you see on there. Uh, we actually make ourselves. And uh, I just want to point out that there's one section on there on that website of uh, my husband's book that he wrote, and when he finishes writing his other one, I'm sure he'll put that on there too. There's a section on there for about his book that he just finished writing, and it's published out there. So you guys could check that out as well, and you could purchase his book on there as well. So I wanted to mention that, and I also wanted to remind all my fans out there about my other business, my other website that I have called Advocate Information Highway, and the link to there is AIHNY.com. Again, that is AIHNY.com. You guys could check out all the pages on there, and on the homepage of my website of Advocate Information Highway, you will see the link to my internet store on Zazzle.com, in which I designed a lot of products, and they're up for sale on there. And also on the homepage of my website of Advocate Information Highway, you will see the links to the two books that I wrote. And if you guys follow those links, you guys can check out and purchase both of my books as well. And so with that, take care, everybody. Bye.